Now, President Duterte, if you're listening to this video and you can solve this problem, then you will not just be my hero. You will be my superhero and the superhero of Filipinos worldwide. I'm sure you know that it would mean an awful lot to them all. Hello again and welcome back to our channel. I'd like to talk about poverty in the Philippines. This is something I've seen with my own eyes over there, and I dare say lots of people have seen it, mainly on TV, but that doesn't really bring it home to you just exactly what it is like and how these people that suffer poverty go from day to day. There's too little being done about it. That's the problem. And I know again it's a corruption problem. You could go back to the typhoon, I think it was called Yolanda, here in the west, that pretty much destroyed the town of Tacloban and surrounding areas. Many people killed, made homeless, destitute. And there was a huge amount of aid sent to the Philippines, food and money and building materials, temporary accommodation, sleeping bags, all sorts. And how much of that actually reached the people? Maybe 5%. I know from other videos I've seen that the rice that was donated by countries here in the West ended up just in warehouses, and the rice that was actually given out by the Aquino administration at the time, when it was opened up, the rice was mainly black, where it had been in store for so many years, but it was unusable. But anyway, going back to the main theory, the main theme, the poverty situation in the Philippines. In Manila, there is one area which is notorious and probably the worst area for poverty in the whole of the Philippines, and that is Tondo. I've seen Tondo. Not too closely, because it's not a safe place for Westerners. There's a lot of crime there, which you can understand because they don't have anything. But it's not until you actually see this in real life that it really brings it home to you of how these people are struggling to live. There's no education, there's no work. You can't really call them houses that the majority of them live in. They're not even a shack, some of them. They're made with whatever people can find and use. Sometimes it's wood, a few bricks, tarpaulins, even tin, cardboard, anything that will keep the elements of the weather out. As I said, the majority there are not working. They have no education because they've been born into poverty, with very little chance of ever getting out of that situation. So the situation gets worse and worse. They can barely feed themselves, so they only have one recourse, and that's crime. And that's how they manage to survive, although not all of them do survive. The pressure's on them. There are certain people in power, organisations that really need to look at this problem, not just in the Philippines. It's a worldwide issue. I can only speak for what I've seen in the Philippines. And if you've seen my previous Philippines videos, you know how much I think of the country. But the government there does need to try and do more. I know it's very difficult with a limited budget, but they do need to do something more to get these people out of the situation that they're in, sometimes through no fault of their own, to give them hope for the future, hope for their families, their children. First and foremost, they need to be fed, which you would think that charitable organisations, I believe there are a few in the Philippines, there's a lot in the West, they need to do more. And I've also seen videos about families living in the province in extreme poverty, and they're quite heartbreaking, really. There's one family, I'm not sure where in the Philippines they're living, it's obviously in the province. It's a family of 4. The father is not working, he goes out every day to do what he can, which leaves the 3 children, a young boy of about 9 or 10 and his 2 younger daughters to fend for themselves. The only good thing they have going is that they do have a little bit of land at the back where they grow corn, and that's all they eat, corn. They don't have anything else, so they just grind it up and make it into like a corn rice. Now eating that every day is not going to be good for you in the long term, but this particular film I watched, one of the neighbours gave them a chicken, a whole chicken, and the 9-year-old boy cooked the chicken for his younger sisters, and just to watch it cooking in like a dirty kitchen, but it's when he dished it up in front of the 2 younger children, the look on their faces while they were eating the chicken is actually quite heartbreaking. It's they were so happy, unbelievable, just because they had a chicken. Another one I watched, again, another family of 9 living in the province, no work. They are actually illegally living on this land and have done for about 15 years. But now the company that owns the land is selling it and wants to redevelop it, so I don't know what's going to happen to them. I guess they will be just kicked off the land. And where they will go, what will happen to them, I have no idea. It's the father, he actually does work. He's a part-time construction worker, but if he's lucky, he will work about 3 times a week, if he's lucky, and he earns $23 a week for that, which is not very much, not enough to feed a family of 9. They too really struggle. There's 7 children and another one on the way. Now I know people will say that you shouldn't have big families like that, and yeah, I agree, you shouldn't, but it's there's no contraception in the Philippines. It's against the religious way of thinking, if you want to call it that, and as I said before, they are very religious and they will stick by what the church has said, but there is barely enough to feed them. There's nothing left for anything else. They have debts in the stores where they've had to get food, and they've said they'll pay when they get paid themselves, but sometimes they don't get paid. It depends if he gets a job or not. So it is a very difficult situation. In the 21st century, there is no reason at all why people should have to live under these conditions. There should be free schooling for these people, to give them an education, to give them hope to get out of poverty once and for all. The church in the Philippines, as people are probably well aware, the Philippines is a staunch Catholic majority, and they are a very religious people. And I find it amazing when we drive around different parts of the Philippines, and you will drive through these, sometimes you can't even call it a village, and these people are living by the roadside in these huts with nothing. But there will be a church there, and that church is the best building in the village. And it's same wherever you go in the Philippines. The church looks magnificent, and it's obviously cost a lot of money, and I don't know whether they're getting their money from. I'm guessing it's from the people that go to the church and donate. Now the church should be doing more to help the people in the vicinity where they live. There should be, in desperate cases, a facility there where they can come and get a meal, they can get clothes to feed themselves. But it's education really is the way out of this problem. And you know, there are rich people living in the Philippines, even though it is a poor country. But there are a lot of rich people that are living there. Some are Filipino. They've made their money either in the Philippines or elsewhere around the world. And they've come back and retired and want to enjoy their hard work, the rewards that they've received. But it's time for some of these people to think, you know, I could have been in that situation. Maybe I was in that situation. And they need to give something back. They need to help their countrymen. The politicians, they need to do more. I'm not just talking about Duterte. I'm talking about all of the politicians, whether they are in the government or in the opposing parties. The majority of them are extremely wealthy. I don't see any, or not many, giving back to the communities where they came from. There is one that I know of, which is Manny Pacquiao. Now, he has done a lot for the area that he comes from. He's built houses, he's given food, he's set up free schools. That's exactly what you need. If these people in poverty are ever going to get out of it and give their families, their sons, their daughters a future, then this needs to be done. I wish there was a magic wand where you could wave it and everybody is happy, everybody's well fed, educated, in work, living a lovely life. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. That's life. But something needs to be done. The West needs to wake up to this problem, a worldwide problem, and tackle it head on. Now, President Duterte, if you're listening to this video and you can solve this problem, then you will not just be my hero. You will be my superhero and the superhero of Filipinos worldwide. I'm sure you know that it would mean an awful lot to them all. There is no reason in the 21st century that people have to live under these sort of conditions. I hope this video will reach some people who can make a difference, and it will make them think about it and maybe try to organise something for these people in this position. I hope they do. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the subject for now. we'll see if anything happens. So hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.